So what's your personal workflow like? Um, how do you manage your data? As a Lightroom user, I've developed my own workflow from experience. I've been managing digital assets for Fortune 100 and 500 brands for the past 15 years, work with advertising agencies. So I manage about, I don't know, 140 terabytes worth of data, millions of assets. And through my professional life, I've applied that to my photography life as well. Normally, I shoot my photos and I keep them internally for the recent stuff. And when they get sizable enough, I move them over to different drives. While I'm doing that, I'm still backing up. The moment I get home from work, the moment I open up my laptop, my data is synced across my network onto two different file servers and two different Macs. So I can go upstairs from my basement to my bedroom and see my edits from 2 hours ago immediately. So I have a pretty good backup system. And in order to do that, you need a file hierarchy. In order to use this drive on a Surface, a Windows laptop that I have, or maybe an old MacBook that I have sitting there, and I need access to the Lightroom catalog, you need to develop a file hierarchy. So, for example, one thing I do is I keep 3 or 4 months on multiple SSDs, and when they fill up, like this is 500 gigs, when it fills up, I'll offload it to 2 copies of platter drives, and these go into cases, and these go into safety deposit boxes off-site. So the data, I back up the data religiously. At the same time, I also have 2-3 years of archives on multiple Thunderbolt RAID arrays. Here's a Drobo. This is 18 terabytes. I have Lightroom catalogs from as far as 2008, 10 terabytes worth of photos on this. And with these 10 terabytes of photos, I also have probably 4 copies on multiple drives in safety deposit boxes on offset location. So in order for me to do that, you have to develop a folder hierarchy system. You need to develop a portable way of working. And I see a lot of people who use Lightroom, they don't do that. And it causes problems for them. So if you want a workflow that you can move from machine to machine, drive to drive, I'm going to show you my techniques. So the first thing that you should do is adopt the ISO 8601 naming convention. Most people name their files and folders like this, American style: month, day, year. And this is the wrong way to do it, and let me tell you why. You should do it ISO 8601, which is year, month, day, and 2 digits for the month and date, like 2017, 09, 06 for today. And the reason why you want to do this is because if you work in a larger organization where you have different file servers or different platforms and you're moving files from location to location, those dates can change, the metadata can change, because you're either working on NTFS or exFAT, or moving it from a FTP server. So you need to do it that way to maintain consistency and ease of search. This is an asset management system that did it the American way, the American style way, with the month first and the day and the year. And this caused problems. So this is an asset management system for a large Fortune 100 retail brand. They have assets from 2008. And here, let's say I want to look for files from 2013. I can't, because it's all organized by month. If I try to do modified date, it doesn't work because the system's been upgraded a few times. There was a big update in March of 2013. This is the right way to do it. As you can see, it's using year, month, date. So I can easily sort, find by year, by groups, like all of August I can find. So even if a file's been deleted and restored, like this one example, 807, it was deleted and restored today by checking the modified date. If I hit arrange by name, I can find it. So you should adopt this naming convention. So now let's talk about the wrong way of creating a Lightroom catalog. A lot of people do monolithic catalogs. You can have 4 terabyte drive and then do one large catalog. And some people do it per project. The monolithic way is not the way to do it. I'm not going to discuss that right here, but I want to talk about project-based catalogs. What people do normally is they create a catalog locally on their machine and they point it to an external source, for example, maybe an external large 4 terabyte, 8 terabyte hard drive. So for example, here I'm going to point to a external storage piece, And the problem is you have your assets and your catalog in two different locations. So if you move your folders around, your files around, and you move backups, say you fill up an SSD and you move it to a larger drive, and the drive has a different name, things are going to break. If you give it to from a Mac to a PC user, they're not going to be able to pick up the volume name sometimes. So I just ejected that volume. If I go back into Lightroom and open up the catalog, my files are going to be missing. And that's because the files and the assets, the files and the catalogs are in two different places. So if I go here and try to edit this image, I'll get the dreaded message, file cannot be found. Same thing here, file cannot be found, again and again. And that's because the catalog doesn't know where it is. So if I right click and try to find it in the Finder, it's looking for that original SSD, and the SSD is not mounted, or it might have been copied somewhere else. So this is not how you create a Lightroom catalog. You should break up your catalogs into per projects that's self-contained. And I'm going to show you how to do self-contained. It's a very easy concept, but people don't apply it. What you want to do is create one, let's mount the volume again. What you want to do is create one parent folder that's self-contained and portable. You can do it anywhere, internal or externally. Let's delete this test project that we just did. I'm going to create my project catalog. I'm going to call it 2017. I do it by quarters, quarter one, quarter two by client names. Again, you want to do smaller project files. I do mine as 20 to 30 terabytes. So in there, I create two folders, a catalog and an asset folder. That's all self-contained. And I create my catalog and I save it into the catalog folder. But before I do that, let's put some files into it. Let's assuming that you're a photographer that shoots every day. You shoot for an agency and you shoot every day for a client. So name your daily shots, like today, 2017-09-06. Drop your images in, either from SD card or from an FTP or what have you. Go into that folder, create your catalog inside the catalog folder, and this puts it in one location, and the catalog won't need to go anywhere else to look for the files. So then go in and add the folder of the assets that you have. Your asset folder could be named anything. I call it assets because I do videos as well, but you can call it like pictures or what have you. So once your assets are in there, every time you want to add new stuff, you just drop files into that asset folder. So let's say you're doing a shoot tomorrow. Let's do 2017-09-07. I'll drop files from an SD card into there. Let's add some more files. So I'll show you. I'm going to copy from a different project. Yesterday's photo shoot, 2017-09-05. I'm just going to copy it into the asset folder. So every day I'm adding files to this. And when I go in and add files, all I do is synchronize. And when you synchronize, Lightroom will pick up all the new files. It'll pick up all the new files. So this is the self-contained way. So once you do this, you can move your files anywhere, your parent folder anywhere. You can make duplicate copies. So if I have another copy on another machine, it'll pick up my edits. So I want to copy it to this SSD. You can copy over the network. It doesn't really matter. So let's say you finish with your project. Let's say it gets too big, 30, 40, 50 gigabytes. You delete it off your internal drive and you put it into archive. And maybe 3 months later, you want to get back to it. You want to, client wants to do some edits and you want to go back to it. So let's do an example of that. Eject the drive and let's remount it again. So if you want to go back to it, it's all there. And Lightroom usually knows where it is. If it doesn't, you just have to open it up once. And every time you pop it in your drive and open Lightroom will know that there's a catalog there. But for the first time, you need to open up the cat file. So when I open my cat file, all my files are there. So if I open up the assets, it knows it's in that Samsung T1 SSD. So it knows it's all there. Nothing's broken. I can right click, show in Finder. And again, it knows the location of the file because it's self-contained. This self-contained folder goes everywhere. You can, like I said, you can copy to a different file server. I can take this SSD and give it to a Windows user or a colleague, and they'll pick it up right away. They'll see all the files. They'll see all the edits. So let's wrap this up. By doing a self-contained system, You can move projects from drive to drive, SSD to RAID array, servers, what have you. I can pick up on a Windows Service laptop like I have here, or on my MacBook, or on my iMac. And this is the proper way to manage portable workflows using Lightroom.